Clover's death came as a great shock, and it hurt a lot of people, especially in the queer community. I've seen some people say that it was foreshadowed,
What would you guys do without me?
but I've seen many more people confused about his death. Some people not even believing him dead until Volume 8's release. Let's talk about why. Ruby has comfortably handled named character death in one of two ways. People either die in their debut season, sometimes their debut scene, or they stick around for several seasons before being axed, with 3 seasons being the sweet spot. Friendly multi-season folk who die are, theoretically, remembered by the survivors. Pyrrha is remembered by Team Ranger, and Crow carried around Osmond's cane. Villains get forgotten for the most part, the only exception being Roman. Probably because he's still the best villain they've ever had and is the only way to tie Neo to the new narrative. Those who are killed in their debut season are forgotten by the narrative and often the audience. How many people on this list can you remember without looking at the wiki or rewatching the show? They make no impact to the story beyond their seasonal contributions and therefore are not worth remembering. So Clover fits the description of dying in his debut season, but breaks out of that mold by being mentioned, talked about, and made the motivation of characters in the next season. Granted, none of it is good, because the show seems hellbent on dragging a dead man through the mud for no reason.
Clover was a lot of things. But I gotta tell ya, I think you're the better huntsman. Because you were the one who was fighting for what was right.
Would see this through!
And perhaps Clover was wrong too.
But while he was alive, Clover was an integral part of Crow's recovery arc. And Crow's a fan favorite. Killing him off in the middle of this arc is poor timing. Speaking of... Tyrion is captured in Mantle around the same time Watts is arrested in Amity. Volume 8 confirms that the prison is somewhere in Atlas, and fairly close to the Academy given how quickly Ironwood gets to the vault after his escape. So how in the flippity fuck did Ironwood beat Clover and Robin to Atlas from the middle of bumfuck nowhere? Seriously, look at how much actually happens between Clover calling for prisoner transport and Ironwood sending out the arrest order. Where were they? Did they stop for fucking tea in the middle of the goddamn tundra? This is another big thing that's never explained. Why the fuck are they in the tundra? The prison is in Atlas, which was right above Mantle. So what's with the change in direction? And what's with the change in transport? We saw a prisoner transport in the very first episode of the season, with a proper divide between driver and prisoner. So why do we have what seems to be a standard mission vehicle? Right. It's so Tyrion can kill the pilots when he escapes, because of course he does. And this right here, is the cherry on top of this shit sundae. Clover ignores the highly unstable serial killer to try arresting Crow, the man he spent the entirety of this volume growing close to, complimenting, flirting with. And Crow, who could literally fly out of here and avoid the fight altogether, decides to team up with Tyrion only to be surprised when he kills Clover. This is the biggest character assassination I have ever witnessed in my life. Firstly, Crow is a family man. He loves his nieces, does thankless heavy work for months from the shadows to ease Ranger's burden, and was willing to forgive Raven of all her transgressions if she'd just come home. It wasn't until Raven tried to actively murder him and the kids that he disowned her. Secondly, Crow does not forgive, and he does not forget. Homeboy's barely looked at Oscar since Ozpin's reveal, but now he's willing to team up with a guy who tried to kidnap his niece and nearly killed him? Are you fucking serious? And despite Tyrion being the one to kill Clover, Crow gets a hate boner for James. Something that could have easily been achieved with the arrest order on his nieces. Clover's death is so unnecessary, and especially gruesome despite the stylized look. Considering how queer-coded he was, this death and his treatment after is a spit in the fucking face. Clover's death breaks a pattern specific to this show that, while I highly doubt the creators themselves were aware of it, the audience would subconsciously pick up on, just like they picked up on the destruction of the show's theme. and the character assassination, and the back-breaking decisions that had to be made to force this scene into existence. The only reason that Clover is dead is to harden the writer's anti-Ironwood boner, which lacks any sort of nuance that James deserves. It lacks any nuance that the show itself deserves. It happened for shock value, for meta reasons that will never truly fit the narrative, and because the writers were too lazy to figure out how to make this death respectable. Clover's death was the final nail in the coffin for me. I truly think this marks the beginning of Ruby's end, and I can't wait to watch them burn.